Hello, this is Frank DeFreitas, and welcome to HoloTalk, your laser and holography internet radio talk show. I've been off the air since a week before Christmas, and not only is it good to be back behind the mic again, there's been a lot of very exciting work that has taken place in the last few weeks that I'd like to get everyone back up to speed on. HoloTalk was down completely for Christmas week due to my Santa radar page, where kids could track Santa from the North Pole with radar and listen to updates along the trip. The page received 14,055 hits on Christmas Eve, and we received 156 phone calls in 3 hours to Santa's sleigh during the trip. It was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping it turns into an annual tradition on the web for kids everywhere. The scheduled guest for this week, Arlene Jurwitz, has asked to move her appearance to next week due to a scheduling conflict. So we're looking forward to hearing about Arlene and her work with holography, hopefully next week on the show. I'd like to say hello to all new listeners, and I imagine we're going to have a lot of you out there, especially those interested in laser pointer holography, which has become a very hot topic as your emails have shown over the past several weeks. Since the last show right before Christmas, and by the way, HoloTalk is now back on the air with a new show every week until Memorial Day. After Memorial Day, you can enjoy the summer rebroadcast until the new fall season. Anyway, since the last show before Christmas, we have moved from wondering if laser pointers will consistently work for making holograms to actually creating a multiple color reflection hologram using one. There are 2 areas of laser pointer holography that I am very interested in. I will tell you what those areas are and why I feel they are important to the success of this new subfield of traditional quote-unquote holography. My first area of interest with development is multicolor laser pointer holography. This is where you can have the hologram exhibit color control and mixing of several colors at one time. I find this very important in order to make holography appealing to artists who wish to give it a shot as a means of creative expression. I have managed to create a 4x5-inch multicolor white light reflection hologram, single beam hologram, using my laser pointer that I paid $7.99 for. I now have a special section of the HoloWorld site dedicated to laser pointer holography. So I hope that you take the opportunity to visit the pages to see what work has been done in the last few weeks, and continue to visit to keep up with advancements as they are made. My second area of interest is in making simple holographic stereograms. This is where you can take a series of individual pictures from different perspectives with your own 35mm camera, and then transfer those frames into one hologram, which will give you a 3-dimensional view of your subject, whether it's a nature scene, a car, or a portrait of someone that you know, maybe a wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, your child, grandchildren. You can take them, sit them down, do a specific series of exposures with your 35mm camera, and then get that film processed and bring it in and create a 3-dimensional hologram from those frames. I find this area important because of the vast number of amateur and hobbyist photographers out there who are always looking to advance their interests and skills and to try out new techniques. In the past, purchasing a helium neon laser for several $100s was out of the question. But to be able to do this with a laser pointer that is less than $10 now moves that restriction out of the way. Stereogram holograms are going to require a split beam setup. So this is still an area that needs to be explored. At the very least, I would like to be able to create the laser transmission stereogram slit master. This would give you an opportunity to view the hologram with the laser pointer and see it 3-dimensionally. Doing the transfer from the laser master to a reflection copy is going to be a long shot at the low power end of laser pointers. But this is what the work is all about. You push the limits. You have to think differently, and you have to come up with answers and solutions. The one advantage of creating stereograms is that the dimensional information is contained within a flat plane. For example, the 3-dimensional image that you see when you look at a stereogram is not due to the fact that there is a three-dimensional object recorded onto the emulsion, as in typical traditional holography, where you sit an object behind the plate, you do a holographic master of the object, and then transfer that over. That's an actual wavefront of the object that's traveling out there. The fact that you see a three-dimensional image when you look at a stereogram is due to the fact that your eyes are seeing different perspectives at the same time. And this information is contained as a flat plane, which requires very little coherence length, providing that your table geometry is set up properly, and your beam paths match up as closely to one another as you can possibly make them. I have also found that Hitachi has just released a 35 milliwatt, 658 nanometer laser diode for $41. This is 35 milliwatts for $41. Call your laser supplier and ask them to quote you a price on a 35 milliwatt helium neon laser. You're looking at several $1,000s. Steve Michael will be back with updates on his experimentation and research as well on future HoloTalks. At present, he is working with Kodak's SO253 film to see how well it works out. I'm going to order some of the Slavage film with plates in the not-too-distant future and begin working with them as well. I just opened my last box of AGFA plates and still have a few packs of film left, but after that, that's it for AGFA. I have nothing else. Steve is also working with split beam holography, according to his last email that he just sent today, to see if it's possible to get results and what those results are. Now, I highly recommend that you visit and bookmark Steve's site for additional information and updates. You can find a link to Steve's site on my link page, and I've created a special section right at the top devoted to laser pointer holography, so stop back and watch it grow. If you have started to work with laser pointers and have a web page, please send along your URL so I can put a link up for visitors to stop by your site and see what it is that you're doing. So with the prices of laser diodes going down, along with their power increases and shorter wavelengths, this is a very interesting time indeed. My helium neon laser is just sitting there on the table. When I pick up one of those 35 milliwatt Hitachi diodes, and if it works, I doubt that I will use it again. It's true that making holograms with a laser pointer or a diode, or semiconductor or solid state or whatever term you wish to use for it, is going to take a little adjustment in the usual way of making holograms. Power requirements, beam profile, mode hopping, noise, changes in wavelength and power due to temperature and current and voltage fluctuations, and a host of other considerations not yet known will have to be worked out. And that's what we're doing. So if you're an artist who's basically interested in with the creative end of using this, a lot of this information you may not have very much interest in. But at this stage of the ball game, this information is very important because this is actually being developed as we go along here. If you continue to stop back to the laser page that I have up there for laser diodes and also Steve's wonderful site, you'll start to see a lot of this technical information start to fade away because it's been worked out and it's no longer necessary to post the findings. And as time goes on, we will try, and at least on my site, I'm sure Steve as well, to cater to the interest of the amateur and artists and people who want to use this, who are more interested in actually just taking this technology and using it rather than knowing how much of a wavelength shift you get from going from 2.5 volts to 3 volts at such and such milliamps. But we need to do that right now. It's something we need to do. So hang in there with us. So, in other words, if you're listening to this program as a first-time listener or a well-seasoned amateur or hobbyist holographer, there's plenty of work left to be done and miles of road left to travel. At least we know where we're at right now at this moment, and that is we can make a 4x5-inch multicolor single-beam reflection hologram, which are every bit as good as what you would make with an equivalent helium neon laser. The only difference I've found so far is that it costs less than $10 for the laser pointer. For the experimenter or classroom teacher, I know we are just about ready to cross over into what I am calling shoebox holography, where your entire portable system fits into the area the size of a shoebox, with no electricity required. In fact, I have classes starting this spring at the Discovery Center at Lehigh University, which I am calling Shoebox Holography. And if you would like to learn how to do laser pointer holography through a workshop at my studio, I'll have information on that up on the web soon as well. You'll even be able to take home everything you need to start making your own holograms from the workshop, including the laser, the lens, the plate holder, film, development chemistry, and little isolation platform. And I'll even put it into a shoebox for you. Of course, I have size 12 shoes, so that helps when it comes to fitting everything into the box. So that's it for this week's report. Let's keep it short, have you go over and visit the laser pointer pages and see what's happening with the laser pointers. And also don't forget to go over and visit Steve's site. And also don't forget to tune in each week for HoloTalk, as we've got lots of guests coming up on the second half of the season. If you have any news, please send it in so that I can share it with everyone. So this is Frank DeFreitas. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next week.